Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Martin Sjöland and today we're going to have a look at how to install OpenModelica on macOS. And because we have discontinued the binary builds for macOS, we're going to install it in VirtualBox, and then I'm going to compare it to the binary installer, and we will compare the two and see what's going to be better and what's going to be worse for you. So in order to start installing the VirtualBox machine, you need to go to virtualbox.org. You need to download an installer for VirtualBox. Double click it, you follow all the instructions, and you will get it installed. Then from the OpenModelica homepage, you will be linked to the images, so you can download either a compressed image or the uncompressed version. I downloaded the compressed version and just double clicked it, and it extracted it into the full image. For the old binary installer, you also get the link and you can download an MPKG file. You will also need to download and install Xcode and a JDK in order to get everything to work properly. So I'm going to start the old binary installer, which uses Macports, and all that you really need to do is press continue, because you can't really change any install locations. And come on. Why doesn't Mac ever want to work properly? So, come on, there should only be one choice. You press continue, and install it. Yes, this time it's working. And then it's going to be on its way for some time. And while we're doing that, let's open VirtualBox and see how to do things in there. So you press this little button, you go to media, you have your hard drives, you add the one that you put on your machine. You probably don't want to keep it in downloads because you probably would remove those later on, so maybe you put it somewhere else. I'm just going to leave it in here. And then we're going to create a new machine. And this is going to be OpenModelica 1.16.0. It's a Linux machine and it's an Ubuntu 64-bit. Image, let's see how much RAM we actually have on this machine. It's probably 16 gigabytes or something. Yeah, it's 16 gigabytes, so we can probably give our virtual machine 6 gigabytes or so. Let's give it 4, just for good measure. There we go. We use an existing virtual hard disk file, and we create this image. After that, we could just press start. and we're going to come on. It should be allowed to control my computer. We're not going to upgrade Ubuntu. So I can't actually remember all of the hotkeys for VirtualBox on a Mac, so let's look at what it is. So host plus F and host plus C. So does everything work? Okay, so let's insert guest edition's CD image. And that's the Linux version. So we open a terminal there and we write sh. Go to run.sh, and then we can see what was the password for this. It's probably OpenModelica. It was OpenModelica. We're going to get all of the VirtualBox guest editions so that the fancy features in it works properly. And the binary installer is still chugging along, 6 minutes left. And it even says it's failing. So why is it actually failing? There's the installer log. Oh, yeah, it can't actually install because there is some other Macports install with the same Python version. So we would actually need to restart, or we would need to rename this. And we can actually restart. Isn't Mac fun? So the VirtualBox editions were installed, so that should work as long as we just reboot this machine. Possibly even works if we only log in and log out, but I'm not going to chance that. It's probably upgrading something in the background. And now it's resizing the window as you want, and it's going to have support for more nice things. But let's start OMEdit inside of this virtual machine to see that it's working. And then we let's see which is the it's the left little key, and if you press that with an L, you're switching to seamless mode, and when you're in seamless mode, the VirtualBox machine is sort of hidden in the background, and you're only seeing this menu bar up here, and otherwise you're seeing the window as if it was a normal window. And you can go through the application, and we can see if things like multi-body visualization works, which requires 3D acceleration. So let's see if the double pendulum is working. And we press simulate with animation. It's going to compile the thing, and now that it's done, we can see this double pendulum working. Let's have a look in the there's VirtualBox. We can look at the settings for this and how many CPU cores we have and so on. So we have acceleration and everything is working. But can we actually see the settings here for the system? For the processor, we have only one CPU core here. So if we were to restart the, let's see, the virtual machine here. Maybe we should have exited seamless mode when we're trying to do things in full screen. Oh wait, we shouldn't restart. We were supposed to power off the machine so that we could give it a few more CPU cores. So let's give it 6 virtual CPUs, which is what this little Mac has. And then we're going to start it. because it's going to make a compilation of models in OMEdit faster. And we still have some time to burn to set things up properly, because there's still 7 minutes before we have installed everything. So let's switch to seamless mode with nothing showing. So let's exit seamless mode, because we need to actually start some application first. So let's do the same one again. Or actually, let's do larger model like the fullRobot. It's this one. So this usually takes a bit longer to simulate, but since we have 6 CPU cores now, it's going quite fast to compile the C code for that. Let's see if we can simulate this fullRobot. We can animate it, so that's good. And now the installation of the old Macports binary package is completed, so we can move that to the trash. We can open up our Finder and we can look in applications, and now inside of Macports, where we had the same Python 3.6 as something else that's installed on this machine, and then we can start OMEdit. So let's see, it's multibody, examples, systems, fullRobot. And so you can see here there's no simulate with animation, because Apple has disabled OpenGL API. And for some reason half of my OMEdit is in Swedish and half is in English, despite my user setting English as the language. So it's, I guess, a similar speed. We will try to benchmark them and see later. Come on, can I move this window? There's some things happening at least. But it's a little annoying to work with. Let's see how it worked if I press these buttons in the Linux. It actually feels I guess they're both slightly slow. Let's try to switch these to some terminals. Let's see, terminal emulator on the Mac, and then we can quit OMEdit. Okay, so I have prepared some scripts for how to run these things on both machines. So it's just going to run double pendulum on this, and let's see, it's been taking about 7-8 seconds on this Mac machine, and there's no virtual machine running, so there's no problem with that. And now we're just going to start the VirtualBox machine, and I've set the number of processors in this machine to be 4. The default is just 1, but you get a lot faster compilation speeds when you increase the number of processors. This Mac has 6, but if you're using 6 processors, you get all kinds of weird stuff. So I cut that part out of the video. And if you want to, in VirtualBox, you can go to Devices Shared Clipboard. I made it bidirectional so that you can copy-paste commands from each of these. So it's the same MOS file now. And let's run that with the time command and see how long it actually takes to run it. It's about 4.9 seconds, out of which it takes about 3 seconds to compile the thing. Then there's some time that goes into loading the model. When you're running it twice, it's going to run faster on Linux because Linux caches files. So now it only takes 2 seconds to run the front end and everything on the file, plus an additional second to load the standard libraries. It only takes 3.5 seconds. On the Mac, it's going to take about, I guess, 7 seconds still here, because there's nothing really running in the virtual machine. So yeah, the Linux machine is still faster, and it's pretty much always going to be faster. So use VirtualBox on a Mac, you get 3D visualization, you get faster simulations, and even though the seamless mode is a little bit buggy, you don't need to have this entire desktop. You can just press the host key and L, and most of the background just disappears. So it looks pretty nice. But the seamless mode is a little bit slower, so if you're using all of the CPUs for the actual machine, it can be that the graphical user interface just lags a little bit behind. So perhaps you want to reduce the number of machines there. And that was all I was going to talk about today.